Good morning everyone. It is currently, 20 past 9 in the morning on a lovely Sunday in Manchester. Just giving you a little bit of context. It's currently 11 degrees. Wow, that's quite warm. I'm actually quite warm right now because there's no windows open. So today's video is going to be on the reason why I moved from Australia to England, or you could say the reason why I moved from Perth to Manchester in England. So the initial reason why I moved to England was because my grandma was born there, so it was very easy to get a visa, and obviously everyone, you know, the language in England is English, so it was just a really easy option. And also because she was born there, I had the option of having a 5-year visa, so it was just like a no-brainer really. So really this video is about the reason why I left Australia for England. So one of the reasons why I left Perth was because I felt like, you know, I'd obviously grown up there and lived there my whole life until the age of 22, and I just felt there was nothing more for me. Like, I was just bored and I just wanted to get out and experience something different. Obviously growing up in one place your whole life, it gets to the point where it's just, you've done everything, you've seen everything. It's just about it being somewhere that you just know like the back of your hand, and you just want to experience somewhere that's completely unknown and completely different, and that's what makes a new place so exciting and new, because you don't know anything about it. So I was just really bored of Perth and I just wanted to get out and see something different. Also, I feel like with Perth, it's just one city in a huge state, in a huge country, and to go to the next like big city, it's like Adelaide. To get to Adelaide, it's like a few days drive. So I feel like Australia is so sparse as well. If you want to explore like a different city with different people and all that sort of thing. I mean, not that we're actually even that different cities in Australia. Whereas in the UK, you can drive 30 minutes, be in a different town, and people sound completely different. It's just a lot more to explore in England as well, within, you know, a small area. Whereas Australia, you really do have to get on a flight to like go and experience a different culture. Also, I sort of felt like that Perth laid-back lifestyle wasn't really for me. Like, it wasn't really my thing, because I feel like it's very much, it's just like urban sprawl. So you've got the city centre, and then, like I just said, it's just like houses and houses and houses and houses of suburbia, just going all the way out until bloody whoop whoop, you know, in the middle of nowhere. And I think if you ever wanted to build a house or buy a house and be able to afford it, you'd have to be quite a far way out from everything, and it wasn't really something I was interested in. And like, I just wouldn't want to live in the middle of nowhere where nothing's happening. When I've grown up in Perth, we always lived quite close to the city centre really, but like, it's just all, I don't know, Perth's kind of like a sleepy town almost, but not. But what I noticed is when me and Joel went back, and my dad lives quite close to the city but in like a suburb, is that you'd be walking around at night and it's just dead silent, and you think it's not even that far away from like all the happenings, like things that are going on and like busy streets, but it's just so quiet because all the houses are just spread out so much. I was ready to get out and like experience maybe a bit more of an exciting city. I really love Manchester because the nightlife and like the bar scene and all that is very like a thing here. It's just a different vibe, if you know what I mean. It's not as laid back as Perth, and it's not as sleepy as Perth. Everything's a bit more condensed and everything's a bit more closer to each other, and it's not as like this urban sprawl of nothingness. So this is probably now the third reason why I left Australia for England, was that I felt like if I lived in England, I would be able to travel a lot more, because Europe's so close to England. It's a lot easier to go back and forth quite often, and like it's not that expensive because it's only a short flight. So I felt like I could travel a lot more, whereas in Oz, you're so far away from everything, so everything takes a lot longer, so you need to stay in the places even longer, and then it costs even more money. So really in Oz, if you're going away, you probably only go away on holiday maybe like twice a year or so. Like, probably could go to places like Sydney and Melbourne from Perth, and Bali a bit more often. But when it gets past those points, Sydney, Melbourne from Perth is about 4 to 5 hours, Bali's 3 hours, and then anything more than that is even more hours. I think to me, travelling more often just wasn't an option. If I'd actually lived in Perth, I feel like I wouldn't be able to do something like I really wanted to do, because I really wanted to travel more often. I just thought that was never going to happen if I lived in Perth. The great thing about living so close to Europe is that I can also have a full-time job and still be able to travel often, whereas I think with Perth I maybe would have had to like save up quite a lot of money and then just go travelling, which obviously that would be great and I still want to do that, but I just feel like I can still sort of have a normal life, a 9-to-5 job to a certain degree, and have a home, and then be able to see the world a bit more. Also, the last thing I want to mention is the weather. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, seriously, you gotta talk about the weather. So the question I get from people in England or Manchester is, why the hell would you leave Australia for here? Because, you know, the weather's so miserable here and it's so beautiful in Australia, blah, blah, blah. I just want to say that, like, the weather doesn't define your life. It doesn't define your happiness. It doesn't, you know, I think people think that it's the be all and end all of your, like, existence. I don't know. What? I just feel like people are so obsessed with it, and to be honest, if you've grown up in a really hot, sunny country your whole life, you kind of take it for granted. Like, I knew that when I was about to leave, it wasn't going to be as sunny and nice every single day like it is in Oz. It doesn't really bother me that much. People who have obviously grown up in a country where it's overcast all the time and cold, and it doesn't have great summers, they're obviously going to crave warm weather, and that's why people go on holiday. So to me, it doesn't really bother me, and I think, like, you shouldn't let it bother you too much. People get so hung up on it, and I'm so much happier just living in this country compared to when I was in Perth. So it hasn't obviously affected my life. Like, I'm a lot happier here. The thing that people crave here is the whole, like, outdoor atmosphere of, like, going to a bar, sitting outside, having a drink and sitting in the sun. And I think that's what obviously you miss out a lot of here. But then I feel like when the sun does come out, everyone is out, everyone's out doing that, and you really cherish those moments, because it doesn't happen that often. I'm not going to say it never happens, because last year we had the best summer ever in the UK. It was hot for months and months and months. So I just feel like in Oz, I don't feel like there's that much of that atmosphere that everyone thinks there is. Because when you're on holiday, you're obviously going to be a part of it, but when you live there full time, you're not going to be out every single day drinking in the sun, because that's expensive and people not going to do that. And I feel like sometimes there is a bit more of an atmosphere though when the sun comes out in England, because everyone's all happy the sun's out, whereas in Oz it's all the time. So it's just very different to what people think. So if you've ever been curious why I left sunny Australia for miserable England, they're the reasons why. Or if you weren't curious, I've already told you, and hopefully you've made it all the way to the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other videos on my channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!